Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining Srimad Bhagavatam class. So today, Shaman Krishna Prabhu was supposed to speak, but he is with the Kalakanta Prabhu and he cannot speak. So that's why you have to see me today. So we'll start with Jai Radha Madhav. जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी कुंज बिहारी गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन जय ब्रजजन जय ब्रजजन जय कुंज बिहारी Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Prabhu Pada Jaya, Prabhu Pada Shila Prabhu Pada Jaya, Prabhu Pada Jaya, Prabhu Pada Prabhu Pada Shila Prabhu Pada. Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, devotees, for joining Srimad Bhagavatam class. So, today we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4th, Chapter 6th, verse number 1 to 3. So, before starting the verse, we'll recite Mangalacharan prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन शान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु भैव च पतित जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारिणं परमानन्दं माधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं परमानन्दं माधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं Hare Krishna. Before I speak anything, I want to seek blessings of all the devotees, senior devotees, any devotee, any Vaishnava, so that I get mercy to speak Srimad Bhagavatam, even though I don't have any qualification, but still by the blessings of Vaishnavas, Guru, and all my Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, and all the devotees, I will get some qualification to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna. So today we will be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 4.6.1 to 3. मैत्रेय उवाच अत देवगणा सर्वे रुद्राणि पराजित शूलपाणिष्ठिं गदापारिग मुद्गरा संचीना भिन्न सर्वांग सात्विक सभ्य भयाकुल का कार्ष्णेयेनायतन न्यावेद sorry का कार्स कार्ष्णेयेनायतन न्यावेदयन मैत्रेय उवाच अत देवगणा सर्वे रुद्रानीकै पराजित शूलापतिश्च निस्त्रिंस गदा परिघ मुद्गरै संचिन्ना भिन्न सर्वंघा सत्विक सर्त्विक सभ्या भयाकुल स्वयं भुवे नमस्कृत्य कर कर्ष्णेये कर्ष्णे कर्ष्णेनैतं नैतं न्यवेदयन् Anybody wants to recite? मैत्रेय उवाच अथ देवगणा सर्वे अथ देवगणा शूलपतिश्च निस्त्रिंश गदापरिगमुद्रहे संचिन्ना भिन्न सर्वांग स्वयंभुवे नमस्कृत्य कार्त्स्येन कार्ष्ण्येनावेदयन् word to word translation since it's late. नेक्स्ट आएगा इसमें परपोट नहीं. मैत्रेय उवाच Maitreya said, Atha, after this, Devagana, the demigods, Sarva, all, Rudra Anika, by the soldiers of Lord Shiva, Parajita, having been defeated, Shula, trident, Patisha, a sharp-edged spear, Nishtrimsa, a sword, Gada, mace, Pariga, a iron bulgan, Sanchinna Bhinna Sarva Ananga, all the limbs wounded, Saritvik Sabhya, with all the priests and members of the sacrificial assembly, Bhaya Akula, with great fear, Swayambhu, unto Lord Brahma, Namaskritya, after offering obeisances, Karsneya, in detail, Etat, The events of Daksha's sacrifice. Nyavedyan reported. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. All the priests and other members of the sacrificial assembly and all the demigods, having been defeated by the soldiers of Lord Shiva and injured while by weapons like trident and swords, of all the events which had taken place. Next verse, because it doesn't have any purport. Srimad Bhagavatam 4.6.3. I'll just read through it. Upal लभ्य पुरैवैतत् न कस्यात् वरम Iyatu. Translation. Both Lord Brahma and Vishnu had already known that such events would occur in the sacrificial arena of Daksha, and knowing beforehand, they did not go to the sacrifice. Purport. Sammatitani Vartamanani Cha Arjuna. The Lord says, I know everything that has happened in the past and is going to happen in the future. Lord Vishnu is omniscient, nor Lord Brahma attended the great sacrifice performed by Daksha. Yeah. Thank you so much. I seek blessings from all the devotees so that I can speak. So in today's three verses, the the significance I could find is what we should do when we are in the great fear. As in the previous purport, so as in the previous purport, so it is Srila Prabhupada is translating and Maitreya Muni is saying to Vidura that how there was a great fear in the demigods after the attack by soldiers of Lord Shiva. What we should do here as a demigod, they took shelter of Lord Brahma. We should also try to take shelter of Sadhu, Guru, and Shastra, because we are in always ignorance, as it is said, Om Agyana Timirandasya, and then Jnananjana Shalakaya. So we, by nature, when we are in this material world, when we come in this material world, when we take birth in this material world, we are all we are in ignorance. We are in ignorance. We will always be in ignorant. We will learn how to be in ignorant only. We don't learn how to come out of ignorance. For example, we have heard from Yugal Kishore Prabhuji and His Holiness Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj says that universities are are the center are of terrorism. Why? Why? Because they are giving knowledge which is not taking us out of ignorance. They are giving us knowledge which is making us more and more ignorant, and which is making us think that we are self sufficient to take care of ourselves. Whatever there is fear, or whatever there is whatever calamity comes, we have technology to take care of that calamity, we have money to take care of that calamities. So why to fear? But without their knowledge, they are only giving us the knowledge of how to take care of a body which is going to end anyway. Whatever technology we have, whatever advancement we do. Srila Prabhupada in many purports wrote, in now it will come in in the chapter of Vena, King Vena, where Srila Prabhupada will write in a purport that material advancement and people who are taking care to improve the quality of living will ultimately making themselves a slaughterhouse. For example, I just paraphrase it, but what Srila Prabhupada meant is that whether you maintain it, for example, take a car. If you maintain it very nicely, maybe it will come for maximum 50 years. After 51st year or after some years, whatever the parts or whatever things it will become obsolete, and it will be not of use. It will only put in a showroom. So what is the use of putting a car in a showroom when we cannot use it, even though we maintained it very nicely? Similarly, our body, even though we maintain very nicely, we might go to gym, we might do a lot of exercise to maintain our health, but with that good health, if we don't take shelter of sadhu, guru and shastra, what is the use of that good health thing? Or to drink poison and die. Ramanujacharya says that it's better to drink poison and die instead of associating a non-devotee and staying in ignorance throughout the life. Because what is the use? It will ultimately that is going to give you suffering. Why? Because it will degrade your consciousness. With the degraded consciousness, to suffer. If your consciousness is like an animal, then you will only do four things: eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. And animals always live in fear and anxiety to save their life. So with the help of technology or with some sort of strength. But if we if we can elevate our consciousness, then we'll come to know that no, we cannot do anything without taking shelter of sadhu, guru, and shastra. Like how here demigods, when they were attacked with the soldier of Lord Shiva with so many weapons, they were injured, their limbs were severed, and uh, and they were struggling. So they had very great fear. Lord, still they took shelter of Lord Brahma and spoke everything to Lord Brahma. So what one more thing we can learn here, that we should have at least one person in our life is going in our life, a, a person who is mature enough in Shastra, and either he's our Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru. So we should able to share with with them. And when we share our suffering or whatever we are going through, whether happiness or distress, they will give us more guidance how to come out of our situation if it is bad, and how to stay humble if the situation is good. Otherwise, we might think that I am the doer. We might, if demigods before Veerabhadra came, Bhragu what he did, he with his mantra, power of mantras, he invoked uh, demigod Rabi. So they came and they just defeated the soldiers. We defeated the soldiers of Lord Shiva. Nobody can defeat us. So they were thinking like that. And then even though Mother Sati left her body, they were they were still thinking how to save their honor and how to save their prestige. They were not at all thinking of why, because they have offended Lord Shiva. In the next verse, in the verse number 4, we will hear that what Brahma will going to speak to demigods. Brahma will speak to demigods, God, that Lord Brahma will speak to demigods about this was supposed to happen because you have offended a great Vaishnava. And that is why, because they already knew that this kind of thing is going to happen. And when you offend a Vaishnava, your intelligence is taken away. Your good intelligence is taken away. You will start thinking that whatever you are doing is right, even though it is wrong. That is why we need some guidance, someone where we can share everything and they can guide us about our activities. Otherwise we might think that we are doing everything right, but it is not always correct, because we have a layer of false ego. And with that layer of false ego, it is always, false ego is again, as Vrajvihari Prabhu said, is having two soldiers. And if intelligence is clouded, when we offend any Vaishnava, for sure our good intelligence is taken away, and then that intelligence will support the activities of our ego and mind. But take shelter of sadhu, guru, and shastra from doing anything wrong. So that is why, whenever we are in fear, we should take shelter of great devotees, senior devotees, Siksha Guru or Diksha Guru. There are many examples in the past where devotees have taken shelter. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there are many places where Uttara was in so much fear because Ashwadhama released Brahmastra to kill Parikshit Maharaj in her womb, and she took shelter of Lord Krishna. And there are so many. Every instance in Mahabharat, Pandavas are going through some or the other dangers, and which will cause them great fear. But what did they do ultimately? They took shelter in some case Vidura, in some case directly Krishna. So so we cannot do, our fear cannot be taken away by any other means except taking some shelter. Why we get fear? Because of the ignorance again. And why we get this ignorance? Because again of our association. And in that association, we are always trained to think that we are this body. If that is the reason we get fear, the main cause of fear is attachment to our body and attachment to our Jai Pataka Sai Maharaj, the best example. He is, if somebody looks, when students came, when Jai Pataka Sai Maharaj came, they were feeling very sorry for him. They're feeling, how can someone be with so much bodily illness, so much defect in the body, can uh, uh, can uh, can travel can travel all over the world, and they were feeling very sorry for him, because he he showed us that he's like he needs so much help. Without anybody's help he cannot do anything. But is he really suffering? He is actually in a blissful situation. Externally we might see that, oh, he's suffering, but internally, what is going on in his internal consciousness? That is more important. Madhvendra Puri, when he was invalid, when he couldn't walk, he was bedridden. His And he was always thinking about Krishna, and he was crying. And Ramchandra Puri came and he said, "Why you are thinking about Krishna? Think about Brahman." So he came, and he was he tried to instruct Madhvendra Puri. And what did Madhvendra Puri reaction? He felt so disgusted with that, hearing that, I have to think about Brahman. And he just scolded away his disciple. And that shows that how much blissful he was internally, thinking about Krishna, crying for Krishna. We might think that, by seeing externally, we might think that these great devotees are suffering, but actually they are not. They are showing us how to live. They show us by the example how to live in this world, and they show us by their example how to leave this world. So they are not at all fearful at any point of time, whether they are at the verge of leaving the body, or whether they are going through great difficulty, like some disaster happened, anything happened in their life. They are not at all scared, not at all fearful. Why? Because they are always under the shelter of their spiritual master and Krishna. And they have transcended their bodily platform, and they know that they are not this body, they are spirit soul. When that attachment goes, and that time only that fear goes. And how will that attachment go again? That attachment can only go, only by taking the shelter of Sadhu, Guru and Shastra. We all know that by doing this A, B, C, D, E. What is A, B, C, D again? A is for association of devotees, B is for reading books like Shastras, C is for chanting, D is for diet, like prasad. E is for engagement, service. By doing this, we will come out of our attachment. So there are two ways to do these things. Either do with full faith, either follow this process with full faith, or just follow mechanically. But by following mechanically, it will take long time for us to come out of bodily platform. But if we follow this process with full faith under the guidance of devotees, the process will be very quick and we'll come out of our bodily platform very easily. We have seen many devotees just come from outside to do some service, pot washing service or some service, water service is available. They come one day, they doesn't come for 1 year, then they'll come again on Janmashtami. Why? They have little faith, but they are doing it mechanically. They don't care about devotees, they care only about Krishna. Because of that, they are not taking proper association. They come once in a while, but that is also good. At least they'll get some mercy from Krishna, they'll get some association from devotees. And once someone get connected to that person, they'll try to call them again and again and again, like how we do. We get connect to someone who just come for the first time. We try to call them again and again and again until they get frustrated or they come again. So but what is the harm in doing that? The other person might think, if they come again, then Krishna is happy on earth, and they'll get the mercy of Krishna. If that person will not come again, but they'll remember us, oh, there is that person, and if something happened in their life, then they'll again remember us and they might come back again. So they'll get mercy of Krishna somehow or other. So it is just by doing mechanically, it might take long time. But when we do with full knowledge, why we do what we do, if we have that knowledge, then the process is very quick. For example, there is example in Shastra, famous example. I forgot why we do what we do. Somebody is just doing mechanically. Brahman and cobbler is worshipping Lord with full faith, without any. He have full faith, and he says he thinks that Lord can do anything. Even Krishna can take out elephant from the needle, and he becomes happy hearing that statement. And Brahmana, all the sacrifice, all the rituals he does, but he doesn't have faith. He is doing mechanically. So what Krishna says, that Brahmana will come after 1 million lifetime, and cobbler will come in one lifetime. So Brahmana is taking 1 million lifetime to come out of bodily attachment, but the cobbler is taking just one lifetime to come out of bodily attachment. The cobbler doesn't have any fear to go back to, because he have full faith on Krishna. But Brahmana got so much scared by hearing 1 million lifetime. There was one devotee everybody knows in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in Prakash Leela, to whom Lord Chaitanya says, it will take for you 1 million lifetime. Mukunda. 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 Yeah. Mukunda, I think Mukunda. There was one devotee, Mukunda in Yeah, Mukunda. Mukunda was the one who uh, yeah, Mukunda. Yeah, Mukunda was the one. Murari, no, Mukunda only, right? Mukunda was the one to whom Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that I am unhappy with you. You will take 1 million lifetime to come to go back to Godhead. And what did he do? He started jumping and dancing. Why? Because he had full faith on Lord. He was happy Out of so many eternity, millions and trillions of lifetime, it will only take 1 million lifetime for him to go back to Godhead. So he was very happy hearing that. And here Brahmana became very upset hearing that it will take 1 million lifetime. Why? Because he's doing the process mechanically and he doesn't have full faith on Krishna. So that is why why we do what we do, we should have full knowledge, and with that knowledge we'll get faith. And when we have that faith, we'll not have fear. And even if we have some dangers going on in our life, we know what to do. We know we should take shelter of sadhu, guru, and shastra. Every devotee will go through this situation or is going through this situation. Everyone, either they have some or the other things going on in their life, either maybe because of their anarthas or struggle or something is going on, but because all the devotees are in the association and they hear in the association, they know what to do. When we are going to struggle, when anarthas are troubling us, when our lust is troubling us, when our envy is troubling us, ego, anger, greed, pride, if these things are troubling us, what we should do? We should take shelter of sadhu, guru, and shastra, and just cry in front of them, cry in front of Krishna, cry in front of Guru. You don't, sorry, I don't know. Actually, I really don't know the power of this crying. Gaur Govind Maharaj said, somebody asked him, there is so much struggle, what should I do? He said, cry. Because you are not crying, you are going through troubles. If you cry, you will not go to troubles because you will be saved. And when that cry come, when we think we are the boss, will we cry? No. That cry come when we think we are the least significant person and there is no hope, there is no scope for us. At that time only that cry come. And who is crying like that? Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is crying. And so many our acharyas are crying like that. Even though they don't have fear, but still they think themselves as insignificant and they cry. And they cry for shelter of devotees and Guru and Shastra and shelter of Krishna. So that cry, we have to get that qualification to cry. And how will get that qualification to cry? Only by having full faith on the process and by taking association of devotees, and in their association will get that qualification and will get rid of the fear. Like how demigods took shelter of Brahma, we should take shelter of our uh, our senior devotees and our spiritual master. And ultimately in that way they'll teach us how to take shelter of Krishna and how to take shelter of other devotees, and our fear will be gone. And then best example is Nain Sundari Mataji. When she was leaving the body, what she did? She folded her hands and offered her obeisances to everyone available there, and whoever was there on the Zoom, to her spiritual master. In that great fear, the great fear is leaving the body. In that great fear, in the time of that great fear, she took shelter of her spiritual master and devotees. And what was the result? She went back to Godhead. Wow, it is not a joke to going back to Godhead. We say it's very easy to say going back to Godhead, but how difficult it is to going back to Godhead with all the anarthas, especially speaking out myself in my heart. It is there is no scope, there is no hope. But we should take shelter of devotees, like how Nain Sundari Mataji, everyone else. Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many places where they took shelter, but we have only heard and hearing about them, but we saw live Nain Sundari Mataji, and there are so many other senior disciples of Prabhupada who did in the same way and went back to Godhead. So we should have full faith on Srimad Bhagavatam. Whatever we hear, we should have full faith on devotees, and we should have full faith on our spiritual master, that they are the only one to take us out of this ocean of birth and death, and they are the only one to give us shelter in our fear. No university can give us shelter, no relative can give us shelter, no money, no technology, nothing in this material world can give us shelter except sadhu, guru, and shastra. Like how these demigods took shelter of Brahma, we should take their shelter. So that is what I can speak today. Please forgive me if I have spoken anything wrong, and please correct me if there are any correction. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Anybody like to add anything? Praveen? So if nobody have anything, then we'll end here. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय. शिला प्रभुपाद की जय.
जय.
समवेता भक्तवृंद की जय. I'm ending now. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.